everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thanks so much for joining us today. We are getting into stressed out Bradley Beal, and I'm going to ask my co-hosts what they think needs to happen next for him. We're also talking about James Harden and this new role that he's kind of taken on with the Brooklyn Nets. Before we do all that, subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Hey everybody, I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all social media at JRayTheFanatic.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Britt. You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. If you are new here or if you missed all the memos I've given so far, every week now on Friday, we do Fan or Faux Friday. If you guys tuned in last Friday, it was so much fun. We loved doing it. We spent the last 10 to 15 minutes of the show kind of chatting with you guys based off of questions you guys have asked Monday through Thursday. So if you guys have any questions for us, anything about what we talk about today, or any just general personal questions that you have for us, just let us know in the chat, and we will be screenshotting throughout the entire show today and then as well tomorrow to pull some of those to then answer on Friday. So make sure you tune in on Friday. We shout you guys out. We talk to you guys a bit. And then we also have our Fumble fan favorite, which is the best comment we get for the week. So make sure you try to get us a good comment so you can win the award for that, because I mean, it's super exclusive. Nobody else has anything like that ever, right? Who wins awards anymore? Now they just give out participation trophies. We do not do that here. We give one person an award.
I love it. All right, Britt, thank you so much for that reminder, you guys. And yeah, if you write something compelling, funny, interesting, we will for sure talk about it. Don't ask us any of the repetitive questions that we always get in the chat. And I think you guys know which ones I'm talking about, the kind that we're just obviously not going to answer. So make it fun, make it exciting. That's the way to do it. All right, you guys, let's get into the first need-to-know news story. So the Wizards and the Rockets went head-to-head last night, and I think we all knew that it was going to be a tense game ever since they swapped players like that. And the Wizards lost in their game. They're now 3-10, the worst record in the league. Bradley Beal was seen, as you can see here, he was seen looking extremely miserable. The poor guy, I mean, he is obviously very, very stressed out. Some people felt bad for him. A lot of people were like, oh, he's wasting his talents. He needs to move somewhere else where he can actually win. Kendrick Perkins tweeted that the Heat or Sixers should pick him up, but we know that Bradley Beal wants to retire a Wizard. So he has signed 2 contract extensions. He's choosing to be there. He could have opportunities to go elsewhere, but he's sticking with the Wizards. He's being loyal. People were tweeting free Bradley Beal, which I thought was kind of funny. So let's discuss this. Britt, first I'd like to hear from you. Do you think Washington can fix their downward spiral, or is it simply too late for them? That is a really, really bad record that they have.
First of all, we talk about retired jerseys. That man deserves a retired jersey, not Tristan Thompson, but Bradley Beal deserved to get your jersey retired, my guy. But no, I think, 3-10, yes, is a terrible record. I believe they're the worst, not even just in the Eastern Conference, but in the league in general. And it is crazy because we have Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook on that team. Like, that is so bizarre to hear that they still have the worst team. Like, them two alone should be able to beat a whole other team. They should, right? You would think so. And they've had good games. It's not like they're playing poorly together. It's just, I don't know. It's just so weird that they're just so bad. I don't think that they should just give up, obviously, and throw in the towel. I don't believe that at all. I think teams are built. It takes time. I think it took Michael Jordan years to build up the team that he had. It took LeBron time with the Lakers and with every team he went to. They didn't win the first year LeBron got there, it takes time to kind of build the team up, figure out what you're going to do, what works, what doesn't work. These two guys have just started playing together. They're scoring a lot of points, but there's another side of the ball. You got to play defense very well as well, because you have to score more than the other team scores. You can't just score a lot of points and have that be it. you have to score more than the other team scores, so you have to stop them more times. You have to have, you know, I believe basketball is a 1 through 5. You need everybody on the team to contribute in whatever they're supposed to do at their position. I don't believe in blending the positions as much as, you know, some other people do now with basketball. I do believe there's a solid 1 through 5. I think here shows it. I think the Rockets team last year showed it as well. You need every single member on that squad to do what they're supposed to do. You need a bench. You can't just go and play 42 minutes, 45 minutes every single game. You can't do that. So they definitely need some work. They need to figure out some stuff, but I'm not throwing it away for forever. Bradley Beal's 27 years old. He still has a good 8 to 10 years of basketball he can play if he wants to. So I wouldn't just give up on it. And they're paying him. He's getting his money. It's not like he's taking pay reductions or pay cuts in order to stay with the team. They're paying him his money. So you just, I don't know, maybe get your feelings out of it just a little bit right now and just know that your team has work to do and try to figure that out. Obviously, this to me seems more like a GM and a coach problem and a president problem than anything else, because obviously they're not having the right pieces together in order to have the team that they need. And I'm not talking about Bradley Beal or Russell Westbrook. I think they're both playing well and they're playing well together and they can score and do this, that, and the third. I think it's the supporting cast around them that they need to try to figure out.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you on that as well. We're still early on in the season, but you would think that I feel like you would think that these two together would be able to build that chemistry among everybody else. But yes, you're right. It takes time. Gelling well is a process for sure. Jackie, do you think that Bradley needs to give up on his desire to retire a Wizard and focus more on winning? And do you feel like Russell needs to get out too?
I don't have a thought on that, because if you really wanted to get out, you wouldn't have signed those contracts. So I don't think that's even a question right now. I know you said it's early in the season, but it's a little late when you're looking at this record right now, because you're definitely a trout swimming upstream right now. And I agree with Britt. I think, you know, there's a lot of work to be done. Only Robin Lopez has played all 13 games so far. Bradley's played 12 and Russ has played 9. They have their rookie Danny. This is his first season and he's a starter and he's out right now. He got an injury on Tuesday. And then, you know, they have Rui. He's out. I don't really know what his injury is, but I love Rui too, but he's in his second season, you know, so he's still pretty young, still learning the system. You got a rookie in there who's learning the system. Like Britt said, Russell and Bradley are playing well, but Russell's not playing as well as he was playing in Houston. But you can chalk that up to, you know, this is an entirely new system. He was already used to playing with James Harden. So this is an entirely new system. He's trying to find his footing. So I think that when you look at the age of your starting squad and you look at the fact that you have these two superstars that you have to figure out how they're going to gel together, you kind of have to call this first year a wash. Maybe not a complete wash. Maybe you guys get it together at the tail end of the season. And now you can say, like Britt said, oh, okay, this is my for sure role. I'm supposed to do this. It works better when I do this. But this whole season has got to be a learning experience. And I get Bradley Beal and his frustration because he's still an athlete. He's not playing just to lose. You know, he wants to win. I get his frustration, but I do think you kind of have to look at the whole situation and realize you do have some younger starters. You do have to figure out your identity on this team. You've got new people here, and you've got to kind of just call this year a learning experience. So I think at the end of the season, regardless of their record, like if they have the worst record in the league, but at the end of the season, we see a better Wizards squad and we see that they've kind of figured out who they are together, then you can call this season a win, because now you can go into next season knowing what you're supposed to do and you can have a better start next season. But I think you got to learn. This is a learning season. That's all it is.
Yeah. Ladies,
Right.
I have a question for you guys. Do you, to your point with what you just said about Bradley Beal, and, you know, obviously he's a competitor and he wants to win. Do you think it is 100% about the just idea of wanting to win, or because the league looks at the wins when they're comparing because we remember we covered it. He was so mad that he didn't make first, second, or third team all NBA. And he had the stats, but his team sucked so bad. So I think like his team losing is actually kind of negatively affecting his personal accolades, which have been great. Like his stats are great or whatever, but he never ends up being in these conversations because he's on a losing team. Do you think it's more of that in a combination with just like we're losing, but like the fact that the league puts winning on a pedestal over your personal accolades?
I think it's probably both, because you're absolutely right. I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Giannis shouldn't have got that first MVP. That should have been James Harden. But what the Bucks were doing was just more impressive. All the press was kind of going there. They were on this winning streak. So it just made that conversation just an easy nod. When you start talking about teams, I don't know. I have basketball conversations all day, every day. We don't talk about the Wizards because what is there to talk about? And so if we're not talking about it, then the people who kind of dish out these awards aren't talking about them. And so it's probably not even malicious. It's just by default, you're going to overlook them because this isn't a team that you're looking at. So I think it's a double whammy for him. Not only is he not in these conversations, he's still a competitor. He wants to win. So it's like, I'm just getting hit on both sides. Nobody's even looking at me. And I'm out here playing my heart out. And it's probably very hurtful to him. But like you said, you got to get your feelings out of it. And you got to just go out there and keep playing.
Yep.
Right. And yeah, just to add on to that, it's like it's like guilty by association, although it's not guilty in this situation, it's losing by association. So Bradley Beal can be putting up amazing numbers. He could be putting on stellar performances every night, but the Wizards are not a flashy team. Nobody really cares that much. And you would think the addition of Russell Westbrook, I think, would have added to that a little bit more and made them a little bit more of the type of team that you want to watch. And those two together, they're doing really, really well. But with that losing record, it's just a little bit tough. It's kind of like an eyesore.
Right. And for that conversation, too, they have 0 nationally televised games this year. Not one. Wizards have not one national televised game.
Right. I feel so bad for them. It's so sad.
I know. I want to read a comment from Mamba Machine. Of course, he is here just with all the great comments. He says, when I think about it, what is Russ doing? He might as well have stayed on the Thunder and retired there and continue trying to send OKC to the promised land. Now I feel like he's going to end up like AI. He says, again, I really think Russell Westbrook's career is going to mirror Allen Iverson's. What do you guys think about that?
Well, he was traded. That wasn't a decision he freely decided to do. He was traded. So, I mean, that's not his fault necessarily.
Right. Yeah. But I agree. I think he should try to get back to OKC. I was like, man, I was disappointed when KD left because they were so close to actually getting over that hurdle. And then he just went to the enemy. But I think that's when we saw the best Russell. And so Britt's right. He was traded, so that's not his fault. But I think the best Russell we've seen was when he was with OKC. So I would love to see him go back there. But at this point, I don't think Russell cares. He doesn't strike me as the type of player that cares. He wants to win wherever he's at. He's not one of those people that is just going to be like butthurt if he can't play in a certain place. But I would love to see him back in OKC also.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, let's move on and talk about another former Rocket star, James Harden. So he obviously is now with the Nets, and everybody has been wondering, or was wondering at least before all of this happened, how he was going to be able to mesh well with KD and Kyrie Irving. And one thing that we're seeing is that he's taking on sort of a new role with the Nets, something that we haven't really seen from James Harden in the past. He said, quote, I was in a role for 8 years, controlling the ball, dominating the ball. Now it's a different experience for me, but it's still great. It's still basketball at the end of the day. I'm lucky to be able to do more than just one thing on the basketball court. It's fun. So he is now no longer really putting up those 40, 50, 60-point games like we used to see him do. He's taking on more of a distributor role. He's focusing less on his individual numbers and more on the team's success, which is exactly what we said three of these players needed to do in order for the Nets to succeed. So it's an interesting new look for James Harden. He says it's fun. He seems like he's enjoying it. We'll see how long this lasts. So, Jackie, let's talk to you first here. Why do you think he didn't try this kind of role in Houston? Do you think it's because he felt he couldn't rely on his teammates, so he just took the shot himself?
I don't know, because when Chris Paul was there, Chris Paul and Blake, he could have taken on that role then. That's when all of us thought that they had the best shot, the best squad, the best opportunity to do it. Last season when Russell was there, he kind of just fell back, and anytime Russell had the ball, he just kind of stood around and was like, all right, I'm here if you need me. He wasn't really in there trying to be a good supporting teammate. So, you know, I'm a James Harden fan, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to, you know, rip him like I would somebody else who said this comment, because if anybody else said this comment, I'm like, you a damn lie. You could have changed your mentality. You could have gone in there and you could have been a true teammate. But I'm going to channel my inner I like James Harden self, and I'm going to say that it's because when you get into a certain mind frame, sometimes it's hard to get out of. You know, that's why, you know, I always relate things back to relationships. That's why couples have to go through counseling, because sometimes when you get in that rut and you're just used to being in that rut, you can't pull yourself out of it. That's why coaches are so valuable. Sometimes a coach can't let you just be that superstar and you get to dictate what you're going to do. A coach has to say to you, look, I know this has been your role. This is your new role. This is what you're going to do now. And if you need assistance doing that, then let's do that. But I think James Harden, like I said before, Houston gave him whatever that he wanted, and they were kind of at his disposal, and he could decide whatever he wanted to do. The role that he played in Houston is the role he decided he wanted to play. If he wanted to be a different player in Houston, he could have. He decided this is how it is. This is what it's going to be. So no, this isn't, oh, I'm in this new place and I'm this new person. This is a situation, you've gone into a situation where there's already two superstars there. Somebody got in his ear and said, this is what you're going to do. He wasn't allowed to go in that situation and dictate his role. That's why he's different over there. But he could have been that person in Houston, and Houston could have put their foot down. So I don't think we're getting a new and improved James Harden. I think we're getting a situation where he's being told, this is your role, and he's just falling in line with that. And nobody told him that in Houston.
You know, what I kind of wonder about James Harden is in the weeks leading up to his trade, he had so many negative headlines about him. And now that he's in this new role, I feel like he is trying to change the narrative and act like, you know, he is this positive teammate and he's willing to kind of step back and not be in the spotlight, which maybe he truly is okay with that. But I wonder if he's saying that for now, but in the end, in the long run, he's going to want to be more dominant on the ball. Britt, let's talk to you now. Do you feel like his mentality has truly changed? Is he really happy in this kind of position?
I mean,
it's the delay for me.
It really is just so early to tell. Like, I mean, anybody can play nice for 4 or 5 games. Like, that's easy to do. So I have no idea. Obviously, what we saw on Tuesday when they played Miami Heat, we still are seeing them play the Miami Heat with no Jimmy Butler, to be clear. They still barely won that game. Yes, they spread the points out. They spread their assists out. You know, it was like him, Katie, and Kyrie had like evenly, like they were like, oh, between 20 and 16 points apiece, whatever. They were able to do that because Jimmy Butler ain't playing, you know?
Right.
But once you are playing a star, you're in a situation where you're up against like the Lakers, or you're up against like the Clippers, or, you know, the Celtics even right now. Like, you are going to have to put in a little bit more effort, and there's going to be a situation where you're going to be like, no, I'm keeping this ball. Like, this ain't no play game right now. I'm doing this and whatever. And right now, James Harden is the shooting guard. So, Kyrie, are you giving up that ball to James Harden, who is supposed to be the shooter on your team? Are you keeping that ball and having 0 assists and 50 points yourself? What is going to happen there? You know, KD, when you get the rebounds, are you giving it to Kyrie and to James, or are you going to take the ball down the court yourself? Like, what is going to happen here? You know, there's so much that I still have questions about that I cannot determine off of these couple little games where they've been playing nice with each other, because they haven't really been under any pressure situations, you know? So it is what it is. We'll see. I don't know and I don't think James Harden should have to take the gas off. You know, you just have to figure out how we're supposed to do. What am I the best at? What are you the best? Oh, well, today you're playing point. I'm not playing point. Okay, so I'm going to relinquish that role to you and let you facilitate this game, and I'm going to do what you see fit for me to do in this situation. Kyrie, are you going to be able to let me do that though? When you see like everybody lined up and you are coming down the court with the ball, are you going to be able to say, I got to give this to James because really he has the best chance to make a shot right now. So I think like all of them have to trust each other on what they do best according to whatever Steve Nash has for their, starting positions that game, because we know James Harden played a lot of 1 last year and he played a lot of 2, so we're going to have to see what happens with that situation when we get in those moments of bigger games, like things where like it's really all on the line, and because all of them, they're going to have that fight, that dog come out of them, and they're all going to want to be the star in that moment. Right now, they're okay just like, let's share, let's do this, let's all just get 20 points apiece, but I don't think that that's going to last very long.
Right.
I do. Brett, I want to read one comment in the
Jackie.
chat, and I agree with Kevin Pryor says, I think it'll work this year because everyone has been brought in to win a championship. And I think that's the thing. Like KD kind of facilitated this whole thing, KD and Kyrie a little bit, but you have to win this. You have to win this year. This is all or nothing. You guys have this big 3 that everybody said is going to be this powerhouse that is going to wreck shop throughout the league. You got to play nice for the whole season, I think. I think James Harden, we're going to see a new and improved James Harden for this entire season. Maybe next season, especially if they pull it out and win, maybe then he starts getting back to his whole old, I'm feeling myself ways. But right now, y'all got to be singing Kumbaya together, doing pizza nights together. Y'all got to act like you're altar boys at this point and get along and make this work and make this make sense.
James Harden with the title is
Yes. It's going to be
so
a lot.
I feel like I love what you guys are saying here. You're absolutely right that right now they're kind of willing to like work with one another and maybe take a back seat a little bit, but once we get into crunch time, once there's more at stake, I just wonder, are they really going to be able to put those big egos aside and do what you said, Britt, and say, okay, I'm good at this, you're good at this, let's do this in this game or whatever. I just wonder if they're really going to be able to do that, because that's a lot of energy right there with those 3 guys. So We'll have to see what goes down.
Yeah.
But you guys, on that note, let's wrap up Need to Know News. Jackie, can you take us into the post-up?
Yes, let's get into the post-up. I'm excited for this first one because I personally am creating a new game show, or at least a new mini game show for us on the Fumble. It's going to be called Read Them Lips. So I asked Leo if he could put this up full screen because I want you guys to, because there's no sound on this, but this is classic. Russell Westbrook and John Wall both get a technical. So read them lips. Tell me what was said. It's so hard to tell with Russell. His whole head, he speaks with his whole neck up. I don't know.
I know, it's more like read them next. Like I can't even see it.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm gonna go to our stellar lip reader. I know there's a lot of head bobbing, but do you have any clue what was said
Jackie, here? I think that you guys have overestimated my lip reading abilities, because I literally have no idea what was being said there.
No idea.
What Britt said is right. It's that. Imagine if we all talk like that. Like, no way.
I don't know what John Wall said to Russell, but he definitely said something that it was like, you know what? That's the bobblehead mad. That's what my mom calls it when I start talking with my head. She's like, don't do that bobblehead mad with me. So he did the bobblehead mad. So I do have one Twitter user that has some clue as to what might have been said. So let's just break this down and see if we think this person is right. Westbrook said, you chase Harden away. Wall, you have to play for the Wizards. Westbrook, well, you have to play for the Rockets. Wall, you can't hit threes. You're 30%. Russell, the F, you're 28%. Wall, valid point, but your team sucks worse than mine. Westbrook, so? Does that sound right? Does this person get it? I don't know if the head movement tells me that the last thing Russell Westbrook said was not so. There was definitely a curse word in there somewhere. I just have to let y'all know that. But I love Russell when he gets fired up like this. Please do more of this, Russ. Just try not to get the technical. But let's go on to this next one because Bobo, when he out here doing these slam dunks, it doesn't make any sense. He's making me think we need to raise this rim just a little bit because he got about this much jump and still got the dunk. And then RJ Hampton had to go out there and put his whole body into it. Look at this. He didn't even, did he even bend his knees? I'd be so mad if I was in like a dunk contest after him, because that just seems so unfair to me. Maybe just do an automatic rim so when he comes towards it, it just goes up like 2 feet.
Both feet didn't even leave the floor. It looked like the other one just went on its tiptoe.
I know. I was like, did he even bend his knees? Right, a little plie or something. And RJ had to get a whole running start. And well, just like, I got
right.
That would frustrate me to no end, but still love to see him out on the court. Now, we all remember that time when Steph went out there and scored 62 points earlier this month, actually. Apparently, there's a way. Andrew Bogut says there's a secret to getting Steph to go off, and apparently it's us, or maybe some of y'all who are haters, because apparently he goes in and he reads so he goes on social media. So this is what Andrew said. He's like, if he has a bad half, he will go on social media and then come out and drop 30 points. My question is, why don't you just stay on social media? I don't understand this, but look at Steph's, or Wardell. I forgot I'm calling you Wardell from now on. So look at Wardell, Stephen Curry's face when he's on social media. What are they saying about who's hating on Steph? How y'all out here hating on Steph? I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, this user said the same thing. If this is his thing, just antagonize him, in the half, and then go and give him social media. So make sure he drops 60 points a game. If that's all it takes to get Steph riled up, I'd be handing him, here go your phone as we walk into the locker room. That's what I'd be doing. This don't make no sense. But let's go on to this next one, because for those of you, we've been talking about this James Harden situation, and the trade happened, and that caused a physical for Karis LeVert, which ultimately saved his life. So Karis actually said that last week. He was doing an interview, and he said, quote, I didn't have any symptoms. I was playing in games. I hadn't missed any games this season. I was feeling 100% healthy. So in a way, this trade definitely showed and revealed what was going on in my body. So I'm definitely looking at it from that side, and definitely humbled to know that this trade could have possibly saved me in the long run. And that's scary to think that had this trade not happened, who knows how long this would have gone undetected and what kind of problems that would have caused them. And then Chris Herring with ESPN, he agreed with that and said, we've got to look at the big picture. And then a fan asked him, well, the real question is, why don't players have these physicals and MRIs at the beginning of each season, which I thought was a great question. And then Chris kind of responded to, well, we don't know how this season went because the season was a little slower. So maybe they didn't do the same physicals that they would have because they came back so quickly. So maybe they thought, last season's physical was fine. But the good news is that he did go ahead and have the surgery. Karis had the surgery, and then the Pacers posted this to their Twitter. I think it was this morning they posted this, that he is doing fine. He had the surgery to remove the carcinoma on his kidney, and no further treatment is needed. And he is expected to make a full recovery, and he will be out indefinitely right now. So I'm just excited to know that this man got this life-saving surgery and that it was discovered. So regardless of what I think about this trade, I'm definitely glad that this is definitely a shining moment for that trade. So let's get on to this next one, because this next one is one of those moments that I think we just love on children so much. We just want to, especially when they're young, because they're not going to be young forever. They get big so quick. So you just want to love them and hug them. But Gabby was trying to love on her little one a little too much, and she was not feeling it. And I think this is adorable. Take a look.
No.
Oh, I'd be so crushed if I was like, are you crawling away from me? You're my baby. Oh, I'd be so crushed. But I get it. Sometimes you need your space, even as a little one. So Gabby, give that baby her space. Okay, Britt. Did that tug? Go ahead, Devin.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, this is me. Like, if people get too close to me or touch me too much, I'm like, you need to get off right now. I'm exactly like this.
You're not a cuddler?
Like,
I'm not a cuddler.
No.
I hate cuddling. I'm same. I could not, like, get off of me. I don't like hand holding. I am not.
Ah!
No.
I don't mind.
Go on your side of the bed.
Oh no, I am the like, you gotta hold me till I fall asleep and then you can move. But just know when I wake up, I'm coming back. Like I am such a cuddler.
Like my ex would be like, and I'd be like, get away from me, and he'd be like, you are so like, I'm sorry, I just like, you're just in my space and it's hot.
That's okay, but you just cuddle until you sweat, and then when you start sweating, you move away. But you gotta cuddle until you sweat.
No, I can't even fall asleep, and it's just never that comfortable being cuddled up. Like I'm so much more comfortable
alone. Me too.
I feel like between the three of us, I have the least emotions on the panel, but I'm the one that likes to be cuddled the most. This makes no sense to me. I don't understand what's happening right now. It's weird.
So funny to me, so maybe that's just sticking with you.
I saw what you did, Devin.
Everyone in the chat, did Jackie just officially become the soft one on the show? Let us know. Jackie is the new soft one on the show.
No.
Congratulations.
Whoa, I'm not a simp. What is happening? I'm boycotting. I'm leaving the show now. This is ridiculous. I like to cuddle. It's whatever. I'm moving on now because I'm feeling attacked. I'm feeling very attacked right now. Okay, so let me move on to somebody who deserves being attacked because he's actually very, very cringeworthy on social media. Thankfully, Patrick Mahomes' brother Jackson is not dancing this time, but he did shoot his shot with this young lady. We're going to play the video. I'm not a simp. I see you in the chat. Stop saying that. But, okay, so he shot his shot with this girl, and he's singing this song that's saying that he would give her the good D. But watch the ending. It's the ending for me, because nobody want no Jackson D. Nobody wants that. I can say that right now. See, I can't play the song for you, but watch the ending. That's her man. He responded to Jackson and showed the girl in the bed. That's what you get, because cringe-worthy. I am not soft. We gonna do this the whole damn show, y'all. I see y'all. I'm looking at the chat, people. Anyway, so.
Robert gave you the soft though. Jackie, soft.
I know.
Not the double soft.
Y'all, I cannot.
Real.
This is too much. Y'all need a cuddle buddy is what you need. That's what you need. And then you would understand the benefits. There are health benefits. Look it up. It's a scientific fact that there are health benefits that come from cuddling. Y'all ain't healthy. Y'all ain't healthy. Well, get tested and then hug up. Get healthy is what I'm saying.
It's okay, Jackie. At least you've got Jackson, who's also a simp too. So you're in good company. And Jackson Mahomes.
Jackson is alien simp. That is an out of this world type simp. Nobody is that kind of simp on this planet except for Jackson. He all by himself on that one. No. So let me move on to this next one because I can see I'm gonna have to watch the chat all day and y'all just going, okay, now you're making damn hashtags. I'm gonna cuss all of y'all out in a minute. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. All right, so let's move into this next one. Shaq, y'all know how he clowned Spider, and he tried to make it like, oh, I was trying to inspire you to do whatever, and I'm glad you heard it, and blah, blah, blah. So this artist went and he created what he thinks it would be like if Shaq was actually playing against Spider, and that is Spider dunking on Shaq. I love it. First of all, the artistry is fantastic. I'm going to have to hit him up and see what other kind of stuff he does in case he has a LeBron painting that I can buy. Well done. I thought it was great. But what we do know is Shaq can dish it, but he cannot take it because he posted this and said, Shaq is not happy about my Donovan Mitchell graphic, so he DM'd me, even though this would be the sad reality of the situation. And look at Shaq's DM. Y'all can see it at the bottom. He doesn't even have a good witty comeback. Like no hashtag simp or soft or whatever the hell y'all was saying. He just says, "Shut your dumb ass up." That's it. That's the only clap back that Shaq could do. I'm so disappointed. Y'all need to DM Shaq because y'all still in the chat, and then go ahead and let him know what is up with that. So this next one, I know I'm gonna have to go to Britt on this one because this is warrants a conversation. Y'all know I change my hair every 2 weeks. Box braids is one of them. So this young lady, I think she did a courtesy to her teammates because her braids are long. They're down to her back, you know? So she, during practice, not a game, practice, she put a bonnet on, and she put the bonnet on so while they're learning their routines or whatever, none of her teammates would get hit with her hair. I thought it was great and very considerate of her to do that. But in practice, they asked her to take her bonnet off, which ends up causing an altercation because she basically tells the coach, her coach is a white woman, and she says, I'm having it on right now because it keeps hitting my teammate. And then they bring her in and they tell her that, number one, she shouldn't have box braids. Her box braids are hindering her style, all these things. And they ended up kicking her off the squad. She actually plays the whole thing out, and it's a very long text, so I couldn't put it in there. But she's basically saying they kicked her out, told her braids were unacceptable. She's been on the team for 2.5 years. So I'm hard pressed to believe this is her first time wearing box braids. It might be the longest box braids she wore, but it's not her first time. And so the team issued a statement on their Twitter that, and this is according to other teammates, that says, hey, she's not telling the truth as to why she was dismissed from the team. But when I go to their Twitter, it's blocked. You can only, if you're one of their 4,000 followers, you can see what they said, but the rest of us can't see it. And I'm wondering, why would you even issue a statement that can't nobody else see? You didn't issue a official statement. You only put it on your Twitter. So I want to go to you, Britt. They ended up kicking her off the squad, and they said it was because she needs to get counseling for anger management because this is her fault. She shouldn't have got the box braids in the first place. So what are your thoughts on all of this?
This trickles down for a lot of things with cheerleading. I cheered for 15 years of my life, and then I coached for another 3 or 4 years after that. And cheerleading has had issues with stuff like this for a long time. I remember I used to, because I have naturally curly hair, and I would have to straighten my hair in order to curl it so it would look the same as everybody else on the team when we would go to competitions. My hair was like ringlety curls, and they wanted it to be like all this teased, kind of like straight, like how, you know, people with like white people hair, like have their curls, like when they curl it, a different curl than like, you know, naturally having curly hair. And I would have to straighten my hair in order to curl it. And then my sisters who are in high school, or one of them is still in high school, they had issues too with having like one of my sisters, when she would go to competition, her hair was just like mine, and they were wearing low straight ponytails, and they told her she had to straighten her hair. And my stepmom was like, no, her hair is naturally curly. Everybody else gets to wear their naturally straight hair, so my daughter's wearing her naturally curly hair. I'm not damaging her hair, so you guys can get an extra point on competition. This is all for competition, because at competition, everybody has to look exactly the same. Your shoes, your laces, your hair bow, your hair, everything has to be, your makeup, everything has to be exactly the same in competition. It is so crazy that it does trickle down to practice. I remember when I cheered, at practice, we all had to wear, okay, this is the day we're wearing orange shorts and this top. We're wearing, like, everybody has to match all the time. And it's like kind of like this toxic environment. Like, it's so bad. And it's been like that for the beginning of time. You would think in this climate now, where we saw last year that wrestler having to cut his dreads before the match and all this kind of stuff, and people being conscious and aware of like how this is now for people and how it makes them feel, that this school would still do something like this. Like, it is so disgusting. Like, it is so terrible. I feel so bad for this girl, because as a person who cheered for a long time, when you are done cheering, you can't just like, hey guys, let's go together. Like me and Devin both cheered. Hey guys, let's get together and do a stunt. Like, no, after cheer is over, it's over. It's not like basketball where you can go and shoot some hoops forever. Or you can go play like flag football forever. When cheerleading's done, it's done, you know? So this is like a huge hit for her. I'm imagining, like, I know she's so distraught. And then it's probably like, well, I don't want to cheer for this team again. You know, like I don't want to have to be in that thing, even if they do put her on the squad. So I think it's terrible that the coaches even put her through that and aren't culturally aware of just what's going on, especially for a girl that's been on the team for 2 years. Like it's terrible. I hate every bit of it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I only cheered for 1 year, and part of it was because I couldn't keep up with the hair thing. I mean, we had to wear the long ponytails in the back. My hair was short, and it was like, my mom was like, I'm tired of putting these weaves in your hair. Cause she started out at first putting weaves in my hair. That got expensive real quick. And she's like, this is ridiculous. Just tell them you need to wear your real hair. And then I just got ridiculed and teased. And I was like, I didn't even want to cheer. I did it on a dare. So for me, it was like, all right, peace out. So I can't imagine this girl going through this. And she said, on her Instagram that they are saying that the reason they let her go is because she said she was interested in transferring schools. And she said that's not what happened. She transferred schools because they told her she couldn't cheer anymore and she wanted to continue to cheer. So it's this whole back and forth thing. I feel really bad for her. So hopefully it works out in her favor. But we'll keep on top of that one and see. This next one, go ahead and find this on Instagram if you can, because it's funny to me. The people in the comments are just terrified. They're like, oh my God, he could actually die. Now, y'all probably gonna call me a simp again, because this to me just looks like a baby that wants to play with a weird thing that always flies down the hill. That looks like a little bear cub to me that's chasing this man down the hill. That does not look like a full-on bear. It looks like he wants to play, but I'm the simp in the crew, so maybe I'm just looking at it in a loving, cuddly way, whatever. I'm still mad about that, but what is this? This does not look terrifying to me. It's a little baby cub.
He looks cute.
If there's a baby cub, no. What is near a baby cub every time? A mama cub, okay?
Mama
so guys, like, listen, get away from me. I know you cute and you want to play, but your mama ain't gonna play with me. So I need to get away from you so your mama don't come for me. That is what is happening here.
Now that part I'll agree with, but that little bear, that's just a baby bear, and I'm cute with baby bears. I like baby bears. She is, unless she's sleeping, unless she's dealing with them other babies. Like them other babies is probably running her ragged, and she's like, let me just let him go, run some of this energy off. All right. That's all I got for simp and post up. But now let me move in to what we not gonna do, because I'm really mad that I have to be the one to do this, because this is the last thing on planet Earth that I want to do, but I have to come to the defense of Tom Brady. And I'm mad that this is a thing, but I have to do it because Britt has started this trend. I'm blaming it on Britt, but I'm going to have to defend him on this one. This is, I know everybody has conspiracy theories about Tom Brady, but let me just show you this, okay? Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson is a former running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. First of all, before you even really dive into this tweet, you kind of have to go to his Twitter page and then try to read it with an open mind, because if you take any of it seriously, you're never going to leave your house. And if you do, you're going to have foil on your head because you think the government and aliens are trying to read your mind. This man believes and research and puts so much stuff about every conspiracy theory possible. It's hard to take him seriously, but he started his whole rant with this. And he said, I told people years ago that athletes were being recruited into the occult. People tend to stay asleep in things they truly love. So then he posts this picture of Antonio Brown showing his new GOAT ring. Now, you guys, if you don't know, let me let you know, because I do read a lot of conspiracy theories because I find them fascinating. But that whole GOAT head is like a devil symbol. It means that you're basically down with the devil. So he posts the ring that Antonio Brown got. That's the GOAT ring. And then he also posts the Rob Gronkowski, Sam Adams goat head beer or whatever. So that to him signifies that Rob Gronkowski and Antonio Brown are in the occult. So let me just break this down stat wise, first of all, because I had to look into it. And Fun fact, I know we also always think that Tom Brady gets all these outlandish calls, like if you don't tackle him properly, you're going to get a flag. I've said that, Britt said that. I think the entire planet has said that. But here's a fun fact of the situation, okay? Deshaun Watson, before I get to this one, hold on this one. Before I get to this one, let me break down these stats for you, because Deshaun Watson has the most passing yards, okay? We all know that. It's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady is actually third. And as far as those flags and stuff that we think he gets, he's not getting the flags that we always say he gets. The last time Tom Brady was even close to getting all those roughing the passer penalties was in 2015. Drew Brees was first that year with 7 roughing the passer penalties that were called on his behalf. Tom Brady was second, and he had 5. Since 2015, he doesn't even break the top 5 for getting the most roughing the passer calls called for in his behalf. Josh Allen is first, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Ryan Tannehill, and Cam Newton are all ahead of Tom Brady as far as getting roughing the passer calls this season. So he's not getting all these crazy calls that we think. And then when it comes to having the top receiver, Tampa Bay doesn't even have a receiver in the top 25 of the league. It's like you got to get down to like 30, 31 before you get a receiver from Tampa Bay on the list. Antonio Brown only has 45 receptions this season. He has 4 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs has 73 receptions this season, just to give you a little bit of comparison. He has 8 touchdowns. Travis Kelce has 11 touchdowns. Gronk only has 7, and most times when you watch those Tampa Bay games, you forget that Gronk is playing because he's kind of missing in action, and that's crazy when you historically think that Tom Brady loves to throw to Rob Gronkowski. So I said all that to say this. Now you can post that up there, because now this is the madness that Britt has started. He says Super Bowl, Tampa. Tom Brady, Tampa. Gronkowski, Tampa. Antonio Brown within a year. Steelers, Raiders, Patriots, and now Tampa. Tampa ends up in the Super Bowl in Tampa within 3 years of announcing that location. First of all, there was no way we could know from the time that was announced in 2017 that Tom Brady would end up there now. So what we not going to do, and I don't like Tom Brady at all, but what we not going to do is blame this on the devil. First of all, I think y'all give too much credit to the devil just regardless, but we're not going to blame this on the devil. You can blame it on maybe the NFL is a little bit fixed. I would co-sign on that, but the devil is out there probably not even watching a game right now. He ain't thinking about Tom Brady. I am not going to give the devil his due, but Britt, this is all your fault. You started this devil thing, and now this little Mr. Conspiracy Theory is all over it, and you want the credit for starting the devil talk. Why?
Why? Look at this. It is like, oh my gosh. I was like, look at everything I said is right. And like, to your point, they got the best, one of the best offensive lines, and people just don't touch Tom Brady anymore because they already know they're going to get a call, so they don't bother touching him. But
that's
the devil,
season.
The rings, everything is connecting.
2015 was the last time Tom Brady was even close to getting all those calls that we always accuse him of getting.
People know if they try it, they're going to get attacked, so they don't even try it. They know they're going to get called if they try to hit Tom Brady, so they just don't try to hit him. But Jackie, the devil, is alive and well, and he lives in Tampa.
I thought the devil went down to Georgia. I thought that's how the song goes. Didn't the devil go down to Georgia?
He has traveled from Georgia to Florida, and now he resides in Tampa just for this season. He will be back, I'm sure, to mess up everything that happens with the Falcons. He goes back and forth, you know. He's in the NFC South, I will say that. Winston in the chat says, give Britt her extra money. We're not giving her no devil money. We are not blaming this one on the devil. We're not handing out devil money. No devil money. With this goat ring. Oh my gosh. And then Tom Brady is the goat. The goat is the devil symbol. Oh my gosh. Woo! Kyrie, where's Kyrie at? Because I know he will co-sign with me on this conspiracy. Where is Kyrie? Somebody call. Who? Alexa, give me Kyrie Irving's phone number.
Oh my God. All right. Well, then the devil made the earth flat, if that's the case. But that's all I got for what we not gonna do. We not gonna blame this on the devil, okay? It's just coinky dinks. And then maybe the NFL is rigged. I'll co-sign on that. But that's all I got for here. But
that's soft Jackie speaking, you guys. Don't listen. Don't listen to her.
You know what? Look, if you want to say that I am a lady who's soft, I mean, I'm okay with that. Y'all know I don't get insulted easily. So I'm a cuddle buddy, and that's a beautiful thing. So whatever. Devin, get your hard ass lips ready so you can do this Britt's takes. Because now
Did you just say my hard
ass lips? Since you and Britt over here hard as hell, and I'm soft.
No.
I'm dead. All right, let's do this.
Jackie, just say it out loud. Does that sound right?
Hard ass lips. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Now she got the water bottle back. All right, now it's time for Britt's takes.
Britt's takes.
This should have not happened before Britt's take, you guys, because I'm supposed to be serious. I was supposed to be cussing somebody out in Britt's take, but we're gonna get through this, okay? All right, so there's this guy, and his name is Chad Wheeler. If you guys don't know who he is an offensive lineman for the Seattle Seahawks, who are now just in their off season. They're chilling, doing whatever they do with their families, but apparently this guy was doing a little too much because he was arrested a couple days ago because the police responded to a call at his house that there was, it sounded like fighting or whatever. A girl was screaming at the top of her lungs, so neighbors called the police. And when they arrived, they had to force their way into the house, and apparently, he was found strangling his girlfriend because she refused to bow to him. This is some crazy Christian Grey. I don't know what he was thinking this girl was about to do, but he wanted her to bow to him. She refused, and this isn't a random girl. This is his girlfriend. They have been dating, I don't know how long. I didn't look up their, first Instagram post together, but they've been dating for a little bit. And that is his girlfriend. And apparently he asked her to bow to him, like bow down to him. And she said no. And he strangled her several times. The first time she did go unconscious, and then she regained her consciousness. And he, according to her, he was laying in the bed next to her unconscious body. And when she regained her consciousness, he said to her, "Wow, you're alive," and then started to strangle her again. That's when she was like screaming. The cops came. She was taken to the hospital for, she suffered like a dislocated shoulder. She has obviously a bunch of bumps and bruises. And so obviously he got arrested. One of his former college teammates, who is currently a offensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, decided to go on social media and talk about it. And I thought that he might try to come to his defense, but Zach Banner had this to say. He said, "Chad Wheeler is someone completely different than my roommate and brother at SC. And today I had to come to terms with that. What he did was heartbreaking, and I will never forgive. My thoughts and prayers go out to the victim. She and her health should be the utmost priority." Thank you, Zach, because all too many times we have seen situations, especially in this brotherhood that is the NFL, where players, when I first saw the, him talk about, oh, my brother and teammate at SC, I was like, oh, great. He's going to be like, well, what I know of him is he was a good guy and he would never do something like this and whatever. No, Zach is holding Chad accountable and said, I'm not forgiving this guy. What this guy did is wrong. Too many times in this league of the NFL, we have seen domestic abuse happen. We forget about them. Like, I remember the whole stuff happening with Brandon Marshall and him like beating his girlfriend. I dated a guy who lived in the same building as Brandon Marshall in Miami and said that the police would be called to his apartment all the time. And we sit here and we're watching Brandon Marshall's podcast with Chad Ochocinco, who also headbutted a woman, and we're acting like none of this ever happened. So many NFL players have gotten so many passes when it comes to domestic abuse. Yes, sometimes there is this sexual or domestic abuse that is not true. It did not happen. I'm not saying that people don't cry wolf when stuff hasn't really happened, but we have stuff that is actual stuff we've seen happen and we know it's happened and people have been arrested and charged and whatever, and then we forget about it. And the number one reason why we forget about it is because the other players just automatically accept their brother back or come to his defense and say, oh, we that's not the guy we know, or what did I actually remember working with the police department in Orange County one time when we were shooting a video for some ad stuff that they were doing, and I saw somebody I had to stop by the office to get some more batteries, and I saw a woman being attacked by a guy in a parking lot. Me and this old lady tried to I ain't going to fight the dude, but we're trying to get the girl to come to us or whatever. And I go back to the police. I was like, well, I'm working with a police officer right now. I go back, run over to them, and they're like, oh, haha, what did she do to deserve that then? And the boyhood around making it okay to beat women, or what did the woman do? Because she had to have done something bad to deserve this beating or whatever. And in this case, it being because she didn't bow down to him. I hope this guy never gets a job in the NFL again. I think this is so disgusting. And already athletes, especially football players, have to deal with possibly getting CTE and having these moments where they go into crazy rage, because I don't believe you can be completely sane and play football. It just, you can't run at full speed and try to run into a guy and knock a guy down or knock him. It's just not. Nobody naturally thinks that's okay to do. And they're doing that over years and years. You're going to get more brain trauma and injuries in your head, so you are going to have these issues, which a lot of them do have post-career. So to have a moment like this happen in this guy's younger career, is crazy to me. Ladies, I'm going to open it up to you guys. Do you have anything that you want to add? Again, I want to say, thank you, Zach, that was his really good friend. That was his teammate, one of his best friends in college. They both ended up getting drafted in the league, and they're both playing for their teams now. And he was like, I can't forgive him, basically saying that's not my friend anymore. But what do you think do you think that this is hopefully a start for the culture to change in the NFL when it's concerning domestic abuse and times it's being okay at the end of the day, and seeing these players again? The Cowboys have brought players back, beat up on women, and then have them back in the league. Other teams have done this. What are your guys' thoughts? Could this possibly be maybe a start to changing that energy that surrounds football?
Jackie, you're muted. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Devin.
No, you were already talking. We just couldn't hear you, so you might as well finish.
I think it's a tough one because the NFL has never done a really good job of investigating, the actual truth. And I've always been a fan of that. I've always said, the NFL should stay out of it, let the legal system do what it's supposed to do, and then make a judgment on that. Definitely suspend them until that runs its due course. But at the same time, we have seen some cases where it definitely is a woman being vengeful or something like that. So the NFL is in this odd position of, do we suspend this person and let the legal system run its course, even though the evidence shows that these allegations might not be true? Do we act before the judicial system runs its course? What do we do? I think and I never give the NFL credit, but I think in these situations, the NFL is always in a weird position because everybody expects them to make an immediate decision in some way, shape, or form. But I'm a big fan Yeah, I'm a big fan of not doing that, and I'm a big fan of let the legal system run its course. So in this case, I definitely think the NFL should definitely. I don't know if I want to say that they need to change the culture, but they need to have a clear-cut thing that says once the legal system says that this man is guilty, then it's. I don't care if you get to plea out and maybe you're just on house arrest or you're in some sort of, lower grade penalty that says, okay, you are free to work and you could come back to the NFL. No matter what the justice system finds out, if there's any type of guilty, whether it's a misdemeanor guilty or felony guilty, you can never come back to the NFL. But I don't think that the NFL should try to insert themselves into the justice system and figuring these things out. I think they should just make action once the justice system makes their decision.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I guess my point was the culture that the players have created more so. So that's why I used Zach Banner's tweet, because that was his friend and his whatever. And I think it's the culture of the players being okay, because I know my brothers would not be okay with a dude or friends with a dude that beats on women, So I think it's more that culture. Devin, what do you have to add to that?
Well, I think that having that feeling of accountability for your teammates and stuff like that, like being able to stand up and say, I know that what my friend, my teammate, whoever did was wrong, and I'm not going to stand by that. I think that is so important. And yeah, to your point, Britt, I think that it is definitely a step in the right direction for, getting people to hold their teammates accountable. That's really important. At the end of the day, I think that what he did was good when he was like, I can't condone this. I can't stand by and let this kind of thing happen.
I am upset that it's just a tiny headline. Like, I'm not hearing anything about this at all. And I think that this should be, now maybe the NFL could do something.
Yeah.
And I'm just hearing about it today. That I don't think that's acceptable. I think that okay, yeah, maybe the NFL should be something that the NFL is changing the culture on. Like, if you're involved in this kind of behavior, we're not going to just let the headlines fall by the wayside. We're going to put you on blast, and that now you're going to have to try to circumvent the embarrassment of all that. Not even if you don't play in the NFL again, you're going to have to do that further down in the line. So this should not be a tiny little blurb. This should be major news. Well,
Jackie, we could go on and on about this because this is a white player, and we know the example they tried to make with Antonio Brown and with Ray Rice, but it being this white player, same with Big Ben, it being a white player, they're going to try to, have it be as quiet and as silent as possible. That is my personal opinion. I know there's probably a lot of you guys in the chat that are going to disagree, but proof's in the pudding.
It's the truth, though.
Player, and we're not hearing anything about it.
Yeah, they did the same thing with the NFL, the Giants kicker that was beating his wife for years, and the NFL knew about it and covered it up for years. So you're right.
I feel like there's no way to logically deny that kind of thing. I know people will try their best, but if this was a black athlete, it would be a completely different story. It would be headline news. So you guys are 100% right on that. You guys, let's wrap up this show for the day. We are going to be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as usual. So tap the bell for notifications so you know right when we go live. Subscribe, leave a comment below, and wash your hands. Wear a mask. We'll see you guys later, everybody. Bye, you guys.
And find a cuddle buddy. Find a cuddle buddy. Do you have your cuddle buddy? I am a cuddler.
Jackie Bustin.
I am a cuddler. I'm a cuddler.